Most people don't think twice about their car radiator. It's one of those parts that just exists under the hood, quietly doing its job, until suddenly, it doesn't. And when it fails, it doesn't just leave you with a broken car. It can leave you stranded, late for work, stuck on the side of a highway in 90-degree heat, or worse, facing a repair bill that can easily wipe out your weekend plans and your savings account. But here's the truth a lot of people miss. Your radiator doesn't fail without warning. It sends signals, subtle ones at first, then louder ones. The real question is, are you paying attention? And near the end, we'll uncover one hidden factor, something almost nobody checks, that could secretly destroy your radiator from the inside out. Let's get into it. So what is a radiator and why should anyone care? Think of your engine like a professional athlete. It performs under pressure, works hard, and builds up a lot of heat, like a lot. If that heat doesn't get released, the engine overheats. That's where the radiator comes in. It cools the engine by allowing hot coolant to pass through thin metal fins where air can whisk the heat away. It's a heat exchange system that protects one of the most expensive parts of your car. Now, when it works, you don't notice it. But when it starts to fail, things can go downhill very fast. Sign. The temperature gauge starts to climb. If you're driving along and you glance down at your dashboard, you might notice the temperature needle climbing higher than usual. This is often the first red flag, and it's one people ignore the most. Some drivers think it's just a hot day or that they've been driving too fast, but no, your cooling system is supposed to regulate temperature no matter what. That's literally its job. A slowly rising temperature gauge might mean the radiator isn't dispersing heat fast enough. That could be because of low coolant, a blockage, or internal corrosion in the radiator that's slowing everything down. Don't wait for it to spike into the red zone. By the time it gets there, your engine could already be suffering damage. Sign 2, puddles or leaks under the vehicle. Imagine walking up to your car and seeing a small puddle underneath it. You might assume it's water from the AC system, but if that puddle is green, orange, or even pink, it's coolant, and that is not something to ignore. Coolant leaks are a major warning sign. Radiator hoses can get brittle, seals can wear out, even the radiator itself can develop cracks due to pressure and age. A small leak today can turn into a total radiator failure tomorrow. Here's a quick trick. Place a white piece of cardboard or paper under your car overnight. Check it in the morning. If you see colorful stains, you know something's leaking, and it's time to inspect the radiator and cooling system. Sign E3, sludge in the coolant reservoir. This one's subtle but dangerous. Pop the hood and check the coolant reservoir. The translucent plastic tank near the radiator, the coolant should be bright and clean. If it looks like brownish sludge or chocolate milk, you've got a problem. That gunk could be from internal corrosion, oil mixing with the coolant, or rust breaking loose inside the radiator. It turns your coolant into a thick soup that can't flow properly, which reduces cooling and raises engine temperature. If you see this, get the system flushed and diagnosed fast. A clean coolant system is a healthy one. Sign for poor heater performance. Let's flip the script. What does the heater have to do with your radiator? Turns out, everything. Your car's heating system uses hot coolant to warm the air inside the cabin. So if the radiator isn't working properly, if coolant isn't circulating, or there's not enough of it, you won't get heat inside the car. So if it's taking forever to warm up in winter, or the heater suddenly blows cold air, that could mean your radiator or the entire cooling system is compromised. It's one of those weird signs people never link back to the radiator, but they absolutely should. Sign, or smoke coming from the hood. This is every driver's nightmare. You're in traffic, you smell something hot, and suddenly steam starts billowing out from under the hood. That's not just embarrassing, it's dangerous. Steam usually means the engine has overheated and coolant is boiling inside the system. The radiator has failed to keep temperatures in check, and now your car is in critical condition. When this happens, pull over immediately. Turn off the engine and don't try to open the radiator cap. It could spray boiling coolant and cause serious burns. Let the engine cool down and call for help. This is not something you can tough out or drive home anyway. 6, low coolant levels without obvious leaks. Now, here's one that stumps even experienced drivers. The coolant level keeps dropping, but there's no visible leak. This could mean there's a small internal leak in the radiator, or worse, it could be leaking into the engine. That's when things get dangerous and expensive. A leak into the engine could lead to head gasket failure, white exhaust smoke, and even total engine failure. If your coolant levels are low more often than normal, it's time to do a pressure test on the cooling system and inspect the radiator for hidden issues. Okay, here comes the part that hardly anyone talks about, and it's a serious threat to your radiator. It's called electrolysis. Sounds like science fiction, but it's very real. It happens when there's a poor electrical ground somewhere in your car and electricity starts flowing through the coolant system. That electricity eats away at the metal inside the radiator. Think of it like rust on steroids. Tiny electrical currents can destroy a radiator from the inside out without you ever seeing it. No leaks, no warning signs. Until one day, your radiator just gives out. How do you prevent this? Make sure your vehicle's ground straps and battery terminals are in good shape. And during your next mechanic visit, ask them to test for stray voltage in the coolant. It's a quick check that can save you thousands in repairs. So, what can you do to protect your radiator? Let's make this practical. Here's what anyone can do to keep their radiator and their engine happy. Check the coolant once a month. Just pop the hood and look. Make sure it's clean and at the right level. Get a coolant flush every 30 to 50,000 miles. It removes rust and debris before they clog up your system. Inspect hoses for cracks or bulges. A blown hose can take down your entire cooling system. Use the right coolant. Always use the type specified in your owner's manual. Mixing coolant types can cause chemical reactions that damage the radiator. Listen to your car. If it smells hot, sounds weird, or behaves differently, don't ignore it. The radiator might not be the flashiest part of a car, but it's one of the most important. Without it, your engine turns into a furnace, and that's a problem nobody wants. Remember, the radiator is the first line of defense against overheating, and overheating is the fastest way to ruin an otherwise healthy engine. The good news? Now that you know what to look for, you can catch radiator problems early and avoid that sudden breakdown in the middle of nowhere. So check your coolant, watch your gauge, look under your car, and the next time something feels off, don't just turn up the music and hope it goes away. It won't. But you can fix it before it turns into a disaster. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more car-saving tips, and share this with someone who always ignores their dashboard lights. You might just save their engine and their weekend.